This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
"6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President urges all Sri Lankans to extend their support to move the country forward accurately under the notion of one country and one law without corruption. The President assures the Constitution will be amended and a new electoral system will be introduced. A special function to mark the International Coastal Cleanup Week will be held today at the Temple Trees under the patronage of the Prime Minister. The price of Litro LP gas cylinders hiked. 720 coronavirus cases identified yesterday. Sri Lanka confirms another 35 coronavirus deaths. The one-day services at the Department of Motor Traffic will be further expanded. In news overseas, Czech election, Milos Zeman in intensive care after vote. In sports news, Ashes, England names strong squad for Test tour to Australia. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa urged all Sri Lankans to extend their support to move the country forward accurately under the notion of one country and one law without corruption. Quote, "No need to give excuses. Extend your support to move the country forward accurately under the notion of one country and one law without corruption," unquote, said the President. He stated that the economy had fallen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, a large number of work has been done for the benefit of the people during the period. He said the armed forces in the world are committed not only to war but also to nation building. He said Sri Lanka's Tri-Forces extended their support to the health sector in carrying out the vaccination drive and quarantine process in order to control the spread of COVID-19. President Rajapaksa expressed gratitude to everyone for their commitment in this regard. The President made these remarks at a ceremony held at the Gajaba Regiment headquarters in Saliyapura, Anuradhapura yesterday to mark the 72nd anniversary of the Sri Lanka Army. The Sri Lanka Army was established under the Army Act No. 17 of 1949. The Sri Lanka Army consists of 25 infantry, support and service regiments which have played a major role to ensure the security of the country. President Rajapaksa inaugurated the newly constructed drill ground at the Gajaba Regiment camp at Saliyapura and handed it over to the war heroes during the ceremony, which was organized adhering to health guidelines. Later, the President observed the military parade accorded to him. Over the past 2 years, national security has been given the priority by uplifting the self-esteem of the three armed forces and the intelligence services by properly delegating their respective duties, he said. The President emphasized that he was committed to protecting the country from any recurrence of acts of terrorism or religious extremism. The President assured that steps would be taken to amend the Constitution and introduce a new electoral system as promised to the people. President Rajapaksa said that corruption and fraud would not be tolerated and that all officials should work for the people by making a commitment in this regard. After addressing the gathering, the President paid tribute to the statue of Major General Vijay Vimalaratne at the Gajaba Regiment headquarters and paid a courtesy call on the regiment headquarters. President Rajapaksa inaugurated the new administrative building and the stadium of the Gajaba Regiment headquarters and laid the foundation stone for the pavilion. The President inspected the quarters of junior and senior rank officers and the military vehicles that had been repaired and put into operation by the engineering corps of the Gajaba Regiment. The Army Commander, General Shavendra Silva, presented the memento to the President marking his visit to the Gajaba Regiment headquarters. President Rajapaksa placed a note on the book for the special guests and planted a sapling marking his visit to the Gajaba Regiment headquarters. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
In order to mark the International Coastal Cleanup Week, a special function will be held at the Temple Trees today. The function will be held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The function will be telecast over the television channels. The week commenced as a way to raise awareness about the growing population and pollution on various beaches across the world. The week was started as a way to raise awareness about the growing pollution on various beaches of the world, and the Marine Environment Protection Authority MEPA says population growth and capitalism are just two of the main factors that have led to severely high levels of pollution in the environment, particularly in the oceans that make up over 70% of our planet. Marine biologists say that it is for every mile of ocean there are at least 46,000 pieces of plastic debris floating. Furthermore, as plastic does not decompose over a long period and only disintegrates, minute plastic particles are already showing up in our food and water. Litro Gas Lanka announces revised prices of its LP gas cylinders. The company says that the price of a 12.5 kilogram LP gas cylinder has been increased by 1,257 rupees per cylinder with effect from yesterday. Accordingly, the new price of a domestic LP gas cylinder, 12.5 kilograms, will be 2,750 rupees, an official said. Meanwhile, the price of the 5 kilogram Litro gas cylinder has been increased by 503 rupees and the 2.5 kilogram cylinder by 231 rupees. Accordingly, their new prices are 1,101 rupees and 520 rupees respectively. The Cabinet Subcommittee on the Cost of Living had recently given approval to increase the price of domestic LP gas cylinders following a request from the gas companies. However, this move had not been approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. Following repeated requests from the relevant companies, the government this week decided to remove the price controls imposed on milk powder, LP gas, wheat flour and cement. As a result of this, milk powder importers decided to increase the prices of their products from yesterday. Meanwhile, a decision on the increase of wheat flour prices is expected to be taken today, according to reports. The Ministry of Health says that another 160 persons have tested positive for the novel coronavirus, increasing the daily count of new cases reported yesterday to 720. This brings Sri Lanka's total number of registered COVID-19 cases thus far to 526,383. Nearly 33,000 infected patients are currently undergoing treatment island-wide, while total recoveries have surpassed 48,000. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 35 coronavirus-related deaths yesterday, increasing the death toll in Sri Lanka due to the virus to 13,331. According to the figures released by the Government Information Department, the victims confirmed yesterday include 18 males and 17 females. One of the deceased, a female, is below the age of 30 years, while 4 of the victims are between 30 to 59 years. Meanwhile, the remaining 30 fatalities are persons aged 60 years and above. That's local news.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The one-day services at the Department of Motor Traffic will be further expanded. The Minister of Transport, Pavitra Vanyarachi, has instructed the relevant officials to take the necessary measures in this regard. The one-day services include vehicle registration, issuance of driving licenses and the transfer of vehicles. It was introduced to facilitate the public who wish to obtain services from the DMV without any delay. The Minister said a large number of vehicle registrations, transfers and driving licenses can be issued in a single day under the program. program. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi expressed these views at a special progress review meeting of the Department of Motor Traffic at the Ministry of Transport yesterday. The minister also stated that these services will be further expanded via the branch offices established in all 25 districts island-wide so that clients will be able to fulfill their needs without any delay or inconvenience. She added that new technology should be used to implement these services. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana urged the people of the country not to mistakenly think that the threat from the COVID-19 virus has completely gone away, as the risks posed by public gatherings and the failure to follow health guidelines is still very high. Speaking to reporters, he said that interprovincial travel restrictions are still being maintained and that however many people are gathering in large numbers at places of worship, funerals, weddings and at functions organized by family members or friends. The State Minister emphasized that this is a country where just 2 to 3 weeks ago, around 200 coronavirus deaths were being reported on a daily basis and that the people should not think that the virus is completely gone now. He said that they cannot provide any guarantee that this virus will not mutate further in the future and that it is evident across the world that new variants of the virus keep on popping up all over the world while the number of cases and deaths continue to rise. Do not get the wrong idea that the risk is gone, the State Minister said to the public.
World News.
In world news headlines, Czech election, Miloš Zeman in intensive care after vote. Power returns to Lebanon after 24-hour blackout. The Pope meets Colombian nun after Mali kidnap release. Czech President Miloš Zeman has been taken to hospital amid political upheaval after a surprise opposition win in parliamentary elections. The 77-year-old is a heavy smoker and former heavy drinker who uses a wheelchair and suffers from diabetes. He was due to lead talks on forming a new government after Saturday's vote. Prague's Central Military Hospital director said Mr. Zeman was in intensive care for complications from a known condition. Power has been restored in Lebanon, officials say, after a 24-hour shutdown of the country's energy supply. The Energy Ministry says the central bank has granted it $100 million of credit to buy fuel and keep its power stations operating. The power grid shut down yesterday and officials said it was unlikely to restart for several days. For the past 18 months, Lebanon has endured an economic crisis and extreme fuel shortages. Pope Francis has met a Colombian nun who was freed on Saturday by Islamists in Mali after more than 4 years as a hostage, a Vatican spokesman has said. After travelling to Rome, Gloria Cecilia Narvaez met the Pope on Sunday before the celebration of a Mass. The nun was taken hostage in 2017 while working as a missionary in Coetiala, about 400 kilometers east of Mali's capital Bamako. It is not clear whether a ransom was paid to secure her release. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Czech election, Miloš Zeman in intensive care after vote. Power returns to Lebanon after 24-hour blackout. The Pope meets Colombian nun after Mali kidnap release. That was world news.
And now in development news.
Many rural road development projects commenced in the Tavalama Gudugalpula Grama Seva Vasam area in the Gaul district. A sum of 2 million rupees have been allocated for this purpose.
Sports news.
In cricket, England will take their strongest available squad to Australia for the 2021-2022 Ashes Test Series. Joe Root will captain the side with wicketkeeper Jos Buttler vice-captain for the 5-match series which begins in Brisbane on the 8th of December. All 17 players have been capped at test level. Quote, "I am delighted that all of our available players have committed to the tour," unquote, the English head coach Chris Silverwood said.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U-Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Leading Sri Lankan apparel manufacturer Brandix launched Run Adaru Abhisesa scholarship scheme to support high-performing students qualifying for university education across Sri Lanka. The initiative is designed to enable students selected to the state universities to continue their higher education without hindrance, thereby strengthening the future learned workforce of the country.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
And now in economic news, the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, ICTA, announced that the revenue license issuance at the Divisional Secretariat offices is experiencing interruptions due to the higher citizen turnout to obtain licenses accumulated during the COVID lockdown period. The software system implemented by ICTA in collaboration with the provincial authorities of the Department of Motor Traffic forms the backbone software solution for issuing approximately 6.5 million vehicle revenue licenses annually at over 900 counter locations island-wide. On average, 34,000 licenses are issued daily and up to 6,800 licenses during peak hours.
Weather report.
The Met Department says cloudy skies will prevail over northern parts of the country. Showers, thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamu central, northwestern and northwestern northern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamu northwestern and the central provinces, and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the north central province. Showers, thundershowers may occur at a few places elsewhere in the afternoon or night. Wind speeds can increase up to 50 kilometers per hour at times. The western slopes of the central hills, the northern, north central and southern provinces, and in the Trincomalee district. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com predicts Colombo's weather would be generally bright during the day, but there will be cloudy weather in the afternoon. Today's daytime temperature would be around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 27 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 26 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index is 13, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. That was the weather report. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President urges all Sri Lankans to extend their support to move the country forward accurately under the notion of one country and one law without corruption. The President assures the Constitution will be amended and a new electoral system will be introduced. A special function to mark the International Coastal Cleanup Week will be held today at the Temple Trees under the patronage of the Prime Minister. The price of Litro LP gas cylinders hiked. 720 coronavirus cases identified yesterday. Sri Lanka confirms another 35 coronavirus deaths. The one-day services at the Department of Motor Traffic will be further expanded. In news overseas, Czech election Miloš Zeman in intensive care after vote. In sports news, Ashes, England names strong squad for test to Australia. That concludes this news broadcast.